Welcome to Before the Show, where the amps are warming up and the stage is always set for one hell of a night. I'm Bobby.
I'm Jeff.
And we are bringing you exclusive backstage access to the artists hitting the stage here at the Vixen in McHenry. Before the crowd rushes in and the show gets started, we're diving deep, talking music, life on the road, and the stories behind the artists and the music.
Let's go.
Hello, I'm Bobby, and I'm here with Jeff, and we are in the green room at the Vixen, where just under a month, we're going to have the Nelsons on our stage for the first time. And today, we've got Matthew Nelson is joining us for a quick little interview, letting you know what you can expect and a little bit of his background, because he's got a pretty interesting background.
He does.
So with that, I just want to let you know they will be performing on Friday, June 20th. You can find out all the info, buy tickets at vixenmchenry.com. So let's get this started.
Hi, Matt.
How you doing, guys and lady?
We're good.
We're great. We're happy to have you. We're excited to have you. Really excited to have you out at the Vixen. We've been open for about 3 years now. I've tried multiple times to get you out, and planets have never aligned until recently. So let us know a little bit about what we can expect when we see you out here on June 20th.
Well, one thing I can say is I'm going to be so much better than my brother Gunnar. You won't believe it. You're saying solo sooner. No, it's not a solo gig. It's not half Nelson. It's the two of us, and we're basically, my brother and I, our power, if you will, is in two brothers, two acoustics, and great songs. That's really what we aim to deliver. And everything that we've done in our life that has been something special, from getting that elusive recording contract when that mattered, to, the biggest show we've ever played to our own audience, which was 60,000 people, to breaking on MTV, doing the Dial MTV thing. It's always been us playing acoustic guitars, talking to our audience, connecting with them. And that's what we're bringing to the Vixen, and we're excited about it. Gunnar and I, fortunately, all these years later, somebody just told me yesterday, it almost knocked me over. This is the 35th anniversary of our debut album, After the Rain, and we're still out there doing it. Gunnar and I, fortunately, still get along with each other, not like the Everly Brothers. We actually are still, and we're really looking forward to coming out there and doing this. We've actually been putting more of a focus on the two of us doing more of a storyteller's type of a thing. And this is the same show that we went out and we did a big run with Styx and Peter Frampton this way. Just the two guys on stage. We don't sit down in stools. It's still got energy. We have some video that we run. We get to tell stories, kind of cut each other up. And for those people that are familiar with us, we aimed, if we do our job right, we're a cross between the Everly Brothers and the Smothers Brothers. We don't take each other very seriously, but we take our music dead seriously. And that's what we're going to be bringing it. So I think we're going to be walking in there, and for those people that aren't familiar with us, and it's the first time they've seen us, I think you're going to get a whole lot more than you expect.
Well, that's amazing. We're looking forward to that. Your family tree is kind of like a who's who of pop culture, and I've always wondered, how much pressure was it growing up in that environment where you had a famous father, you had famous grandparents, famous aunts and uncles. Was there a lot of pressure on you to succeed, or did you use that to motivate you? What was that like?
Well, they would tie us up every night and whip us into submission. No, actually, opposite of it. The funny thing about this was Gunnar and I, we joke and say we didn't stand a chance because our dad rehearsed his Stone Canyon band in our nursery. And so all we knew was live music from the minute we were born. But when you're young, you don't know what fame is. So when you say you had a lot of, the family tree and all that stuff, we didn't know. It was just our environment. And we talk about it in the show. It was the late 60s, kind of growing up in the Hollywood Hills. And our dad's band at the time had Randy Meisner in it, who was a founding member of the Eagles a couple of years after that. And it was that whole sound, that Laurel Canyon sound. But all we wanted to do was make music. We connected very young that when you make music, it makes people happy. And I know it sounds weird, but that's really what it kind of comes down to on a primal level. Is our job is to connect with people and make them happy. And I guess that's the validation that we got. They were all of them, from our father to our grandparents on both sides. Our Uncle Mark Harmon kind of went into acting and did pretty well for himself. You know, the whole point was be good at what you do and understand that your job is to entertain people. And fortunately, Gunnar and I had each other. So we really didn't know about the fame part until years later. You know, we just thought that it was normal to sign autographs at dinner every time you went out and stuff. We didn't know that our dad was, we just, you know, to me, it was just my pop.
Right.
But I think we were in third grade, and it was the parent teacher night at our school. And it was the first time that we had ever seen all of the teachers frantically putting on makeup because they heard Ricky Nelson was coming to parent teacher night. It was hysterical. So then they started talking about, well, he's kind of a big deal. And um, we didn't know until later that he wound up selling 500 million records in his career. He's in the top 10 of all time sellers, like right up there with Elvis and stuff. But he was impossibly good looking, but really shy and really sweet. He was the kindest guy we ever met. So he was a good role model to have. He was gone a lot, you know, as a successful entertainer usually is. So sometimes he played up to 300 shows a year, and we would make up for the lost time when he came home. We were always really close, and we kind of bonded through music. And Gunnar and I were playing clubs by the time we were 12 in LA. You know, it wasn't something this was not like a hobby. This was something we really worked at. Gunnar was a drummer first, and he moved up to guitar much later to be up front with me. And we've just kind of been doing it ever since. I think we talk about it in our show that it's wonderful having a family that had a legacy of success. But you know, we always say, you know, the family, our grandparents are Ozzy and Harriet, but we grew up in the 70s when in Hollywood, when, you know, our parents actually wound up getting a pretty intense Hollywood divorce, and it got pretty ugly. And Gunnar and I, basically, our music was our salvation, really. It was where we could protect ourselves and express ourselves. So that wound up being a part of our music. And I think probably one of the reasons why people connected with our debut album called After the Rain, because it was about getting through not the great times, but the tough ones. And we've been fortunate to be doing it ever since.
Hmm. That's great. I heard a rumor, I don't know if it was true or not, but
Uh-oh.
so no, before you had a record deal, before you had any kind of fame, I heard that you guys were on Saturday Night Live. Is that true? Were you an unsigned band on Saturday Night Live? Did that really happen, or is that just a rumor?
We were the only unsigned band to play on Saturday. It actually we were playing at what now is known as the Viper Room in Hollywood. Johnny Depp owns that club, and it was kind of famous for an unfortunate thing. A friend of ours, River Phoenix, passed away right there on Hollywood or on Sunset Boulevard, right out in front of the club. But it was a little club, and the booker for SNL was in town and decided to go out and see some shows, and heard we were playing because we had a little bit of a buzz, and liked it so much that he booked it. And we didn't have a recording contract. We were trying to get one. That would happen years later. At this point, we had been playing for a long time around town. And unfortunately, our father passed away between the time they booked us on the show and we lost him in the plane crash on December 31st, 1985. And it was one of those, hey, the show must go on. Let's just put our heads down and do it, even though we were at a pretty dark time in our lives. We were professional and we played the show. I remember Ron Reagan Jr. was the host that week, and it was a pretty amazing experience. But quite literally on the way home, Gunnar was playing drums, by the way, still at that time. He was a great drummer. He turned to me in the seat next to me and he looked at me. He said, "Man, how you doing?" I said, "Well, what do you think?" He said, I think we need to take some time off, and I have decided that I'm going to quit the drums and learn how to play guitar." Now, I thought he'd quite literally lost his mind. We just TV show. We did well on it. I thought, you know, it's what we've been working for, but he just said, "Look, I honestly need to come up front with you. I really do. It's just, we're a great rhythm section. It's really fun, but I think for the next thing, we have to be together." And he took, to his credit, a year solid. He never had a guitar out of his hands unless he had to have some pizza or something. And he learned how to play guitar very well. I think his first teacher was Dweezil Zappa, Frank Zappa's kid, who's a genius player. And he was committed to it. And we just started to, the first step was getting our heads together. Second thing was getting Gunnar to play guitar. And the third thing was really learning the craft of how to write a hit song, not just a song. Everybody can write a song, but writing a song that would connect with millions of people. And that was kind of our ladder to success. We'd already done a lot of the club stuff. So later on, when we got lumped into that whole LA hair metal thing, just because our hair was long, it was weird because we were kind of more of a, we predated that by 10 years. We were playing in all the new wave and punk clubs in the late 70s as kids. So we had done all the live stuff and learning how to do that and work a crowd. But learning how to write a hit song was a wonderful journey. And I still think, and I think that's what's, when we play the Vixen, that's really a big part of it, is if you can't deliver a song without having a whole bunch of crap all over it, you know, if you can deliver it with two voices and two guitars, chances are you're going to have a better song at its core. And that's what we learned.
Nothing. I love it. If these are the stories we're hearing today, I can't wait to see the show.
Yeah, it's gonna be great. I mean, I've heard great things about it. How did you guys get it? I love the Righteous Gemstones on HBO, and I was watching a couple months ago, and I noticed you guys popped up in there. How did that all come together?
You know, I guess some music director somewhere thought, oh, I want this song in the movie. I mean, it was that simple. We just had another thing happen since the Mighty Gemstones, which was really, that was awesome. But this is really cool. We had no idea that a director named James Gunn was a huge Nelson fan. James Gunn is the director behind the Guardians of the Galaxy movies and the soundtracks that followed those. I think he just did the new Superman movie. He's a big deal. And we got a phone call after playing a show in Los Angeles last year saying that he had sent, James Gunn, the director, had sent his entire crew down to see us play live at a club, just basically to see if we still had it or if we, you know, and this one was a full band show. And the call came that he was in love with a song of ours that was on an independent, we have our own label as well. And it was a song off of our album, Lightning Strikes Twice. And he loved it, and he wanted it to be in his television show on HBO called The Peacemaker. And it's a hit show starring John Cena, the former wrestler. It's their #1 rated show on HBO, and he wrote an episode called Full Nelson. It's the finale episode of season 2, which is rolling right now. It's going to come out in October, and he flew us and our band to Savannah, Georgia, built a stage on top of a ship, and we performed a Nelson concert for the characters, John Cena and his love interest, to go to one of our shows. And so that's kind of a neat thing. You never know when those kind of opportunities are going to happen. Another one that was a big one was right at the very, very beginning of our career. We had written a song, Gunnar and I, one day when Dweezil Zappa was visiting, and we recorded it on an 8-track reel-to-reel. And it was a song called Two Heads Are Better Than One, and got word through a manager we were working with at the time that there was a movie they were debuting, and they needed to put some songs on it. And it was a music, the soundtrack where they really wanted new artists. The movie was called Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. And if you ever read the script, which we did, you would think there is no way in hell that movie is going to be successful, you know? But anyway, we sent them this song that we wrote, and the director and the producer loved it, and they put it in the film. It's the title cut. They made us change our name to they said come up with a name because our record company, A&R guy, John Kolodner, wouldn't put Nelson as our first release on some movie that he thought was going to fail, which I thought was looking back on. But it became a cult classic, and that was pretty much the first thing that we ever did that broke big was that song under a nom de guerre of Power Tool. So people can watch that. So those things that happen as far as film and television, it's weird because you can pitch, you can go and try to get your songs in movies, and those are the big ones because movies are forever and TV is great. We had one of our songs was on the Cobra Kai TV show last year, the takeoff of Karate Kid. It was actually Two Heads Are Better Than One. They put it in there again. So you never know. You take the wins when they come. I wish I could say there was a real science to it, but we've noticed that a lot of these record companies, the major labels who we work with, we partner with, they tend to work only their catalog for obvious reasons and only the stuff that they publish. And Gunnar and I actually own our own publishing right now. We've bought it back and reacquired our stuff. So now we license to major labels or film companies instead of a major label owning us. You know, we
Right.
went through. So we got smarter, and you know, we might not be selling as many records, but we're actually a whole lot happier, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, absolutely. So, you know, that's, you know, buying your publishing back is a huge thing, and that's obviously important, especially in today's day and age where you're not, you know, no one's selling records anymore, right? We know what streams pay. Streams don't pay anything. So, what has changed for you the most, you know, since you're the beginning of your career to now as a touring musician? What's been the biggest change for you?
Well, there's everything. I mean, I'm an analog man in a digital world, and the one thing I can say, coming into the Vixen and doing the show that we're doing as well, that's relevant, incredibly relevant actually, is the explosion of AI that's starting to happen and how it's affecting everything around us, including our content, what we watch. I mean, obviously, you can watch. But let's just say AI right now, I think, is in nursery school, but pretty soon it's going to be grad school, and it'll be very hard to discern what's real and what's not. And I think there's going to be an emphasis put on non-AI content. I think it's going to become actually very valuable, believe it or not, because I think people, I have a belief that people are craving real now. The fast food that they've been given to generations now. Yeah, I have an 11-year-old kid who is growing up with this kind of technology, but he loves, I didn't force it on him. He loves classic rock. He loves things that are real, it seems, which thank God. But if it was something else, I could understand it because of the amount of stuff that's thrown at everybody nowadays. There's so much white noise. I think what hasn't changed from when I started and to now is, at least right now, they really can't truly get past the fact that the feeling of a live concert experience is so not only real, it's immediate, it's unique, it can't be replicated the same way, and you have to be a part of that. And I love that, because we had to kind of come absolutely full circle, because you're talking to somebody that had a lot of success on MTV when that was a big thing, and it was the world's greatest radio station. I mean, people, they had it on 24/7. You know, that's what you did. And I think they went to a different format, really, with the whole game shows and introductions of different things, that it wasn't all music all the time. And I still meet people on a daily basis that lament losing that part of their lives and just kind of being fed everything on their phone. That's great, but you know, when you listen to a song and all you're doing is you're holding up your phone like this to listen to it, and I always laugh and think, if only that person that's holding up their phone to listen to my song understood how many weeks it took me to get that vocal and that snare drum just right so they can hear it like that. You know, it makes me laugh. But when you see a show live, even if the sound is dodgy, even if the band is off or whatever, what you're getting is an experience that is unique. It's part of your memories. And when it comes down to it, that's all we have at the end of things, really, is our friends, our experiences, and our memories. And what I love about it is, even if I play something that I wrote 35, 40 years ago, that was a hit, or even something that was on an obscure record, and I can see the audience as I'm playing, and I watch them reconnect immediately with that song and that memory of where they were and who they were with, and you can see people transform. It's such a cool, visceral, powerful thing that's bigger than I am. And I think it's why, even in a world where everybody could probably stay at home and do affiliate marketing and make a whole bunch of more money selling stuff that doesn't matter to people that they'll never meet, you know, in the quest for the dollar, I think there are other ways of making money that are easier and probably more fruitful. It's just, I don't think there's anything, to me, that I've found that is a better way of being able to feed my family than making other people happy through music. To me, it sounds stupid, but it's at my core. and I've had lots of chances to change directions and do different things. But this has never been a hobby to me or my brother. This has been who we are. I mean, I used to race cars, and I was pretty good at it. And I got to the point of where I had to make a decision to either race for Porsche at the Daytona 24-hour thing, and quit music, or stay with the music. And I chose my brother, and I chose music. I mean, it's bigger than me, and it's, as cool as that would have been, being in the GT2 class at Daytona. I think it's a little less risky to stay on stage and sing with my brother than that. But there are other ways of doing things, and I just think that music is it's never going to be replaced. So back to your original thing, what's different? Everything is different, but at the core of it, everything is the same. The song is the most important thing to me. The song and the experience you're having when you listen to it, that hasn't changed.
Great answer.
Yeah,
Great answer.
definitely.
Well, we really appreciate your time, and we end all of our podcasts up with a little lightning round, just 4 quick, silly questions for you to answer. And so we're gonna rapid fire back and forth, me and Bobby, to you, and see how on your toes you are. So Bobby, I'll let you start.
All right. When you're on tour and you're making that stop at the gas station, what's your go-to snack?
Ooh, Doritos.
Craziest fan gift you've ever received?
Ooh, what can I answer here? The craziest one? Bird bones.
Oh, jeez. All right, I'm going to ask more about that when you come and see me on the 20th.
What's the best piece of advice you've ever received from another musician?
It was actually from a manager. It was Colonel Tom Parker, Elvis Presley's manager, who right before he died, he met with us when we were forming our first band, Nelson, and he insisted that we didn't need anybody else. He said, boys, you just need you two and 2 guitars. And that's why we're playing the Vixen, because of Colonel Tom Parker's. It was right back then, and it's right forever. That's the best that we get.
Thanks, Colonel Tom.
Yes. All right, last question. What's one song you wish that you had written? Song that you didn't write, but you wish you did?
Boy, there are so many of them. I think Hallelujah is a great song. I think it's. I actually did a cover of it on the internet just because somebody requested it on Cameo. And I just thought it was such a brilliant song, how simple it was, and I love the changes in it. Honestly, for me, I'm a big Beatles fan, so I can honestly say there are probably 30 songs I wish I had written, that mostly Paul had written. I'm a kind of a Paul fan. I think Let It Be is and Yesterday. So those, yeah, there you go.
3 great songs. 3 great songs.
Yeah.
Excellent. Well, Matthew, thank you so much for joining us today. This has been really fun. What great stories. I cannot wait for the show. Again, Friday, June 20th, vixenmchenry.com. I hope everybody grabs some tickets if you can and get out here to check this one out. And again, be sure, this is our very first podcast. I don't know if we told you that, but this is starting out a brand new series. We're so excited about it. And we were just thrilled to get you to do the first one. Well, we were hoping Gunnar was going to be here as well, but let him know we missed him.
Since this was your first time, it's probably better just to be with one person, so that's okay.
There you go.
Thanks for keeping it simple for us. Anyways, don't forget to subscribe and be sure to check out our upcoming podcast. We've got some phenomenal musicians that we're going to be featuring on here. And again, thank you so much, Matthew, and we will see you again soon.
Thanks, Matthew. See you in a couple of weeks.
And lady, take care of yourselves, and thank you for letting me be your first. I appreciate that.
Thanks, buddy.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.